I love this question about failure because I have seen this episode. I played the main character for many, many seasons. And I presume this is not the only person who feels like this. I felt like this. I've talked to many people who feel like this. And I want to talk about failure in a little bit of a different way than you're used to. What you're used to saying, like if you go to Google, it's like how to deal with failure. It's like you got to accept it as a learning lesson and it's an experience, not a failure. And it's a stepping stone close to where you want to be. All things that are true, all things that I've said. But I actually want to give you like a prerequisite question that should happen before you ask yourself, like, why is life going the way that I want it to go? The question is, are you failing at a life that was chosen for you, chosen by society, chosen by your parents? Maybe it's something you passively just started doing, like, okay, these are expectations of others. This is the life that I'm going to live. Or are you failing at a life that you have chosen for yourself? Because if it's not the latter, there's no discussion to be had. There's nothing I can convince you of that's going to make failure feel better when you're failing at shit and standards that are set by other people. It's just not the same. Failure in those two worlds feels completely different. When I was failing at what everybody else wanted me to do, not even actively thinking about the fact that I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live, it always felt like shit. Life always felt crappy. I didn't understand like, oh, failures are experiences and they're lessons and they teach me. No, that didn't vibe with me. When I living my life as I choose, as I intend. Like, remember that joke I made about like, I didn't choose to be here? Well, you better fucking believe that if I'm gonna be here against my will, I'm gonna live my life my way. I'm gonna do things that I wanna do. I'm gonna measure success in the way that I wanna measure success. And guess what? My failures belong to me 100%. And now failures I am unmoved by failure. Sometimes things don't work out and people are like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm not. I don't label things as good or bad. I know things happen and sometimes it takes years for me to understand why something happened. So now I have the wisdom to know if something is not going as I planned or it seems bad, to just have patience. It'll make sense in a year, 2 years, 3 years. It doesn't need to make sense now. I think of all of the things that I'm proud to know today, the things that are skills, the traits that I have, the mindset that I have that makes life way easier. You can always associate, right? Like, you know, when you've been like, oh, I'm resilient shit, there are moments in your life that have led you there. And if you looked at my life, for every single thing that I'm proud of being, knowing, practicing, it was immediately preceded by darkness and difficulty. Okay? Every single time. There has never been a time where like everything's been going great and I learned something valuable that I take with me for the rest of my life. No. This is what I mean when I say I'm made in the darkness. Like, I am who I am, not because of like sunshine and glitter or butterflies. Those times are great and I enjoy those times, but that's not what made me. What made me was the darkness. I am who I am today because I do look at things like they're life lessons. I do look at things like they're experiences, but it's way, you are choosing all of your experiences. Everything belongs to you. There's immense power in that there's no one to blame, right? So you take full responsibility for your successes and full responsibility for your failures, but your failures start to taste a little different because you're actually learning and applying, constantly learning and applying to live the life that you want to live, not the one that everybody else wants you to live. So that's my first question. And that's a question I ask myself every fucking day. When I'm in a place I'm not happy, the question I ask myself is, am I free? And if the answer is no, the question then becomes, what is making me feel not free? And how do I get closer to that? What are the series of decisions that I need to make in order to get to the place where I'm really living my life the way that I want to live my life? If you can't do that, you're never going to be able to accept failures for what they are, which is experiences and lessons. They're not experiences and lessons if your life doesn't belong to you. I want the credit if I'm losing or I'm winning on my mama. That's the. Oh, you guys.